Everglades National Park was the first national park I ever visited in the state of Florida. It's one of 3 you can find throughout the state and the largest in size at 1.5 million acres. But it was, at one time, considerably larger. There's a pretty sad story about the Everglades that I won't get into in this video, but a channel that goes by the name of National Park Diaries has a really informative episode that I'd highly recommend watching. Everglades National Park was established in 1987, and although it only covers the southern 20% of the original Everglades, again check out that video I recommended, it still remains the 3rd largest national park in the contiguous United States, just behind Death Valley and Yellowstone. In my opinion, this is by far one of the most unique national parks in the country because you won't find any towering mountain peaks, large canyons, or very many hiking trails for that matter. The Everglades became the first national park designated as such for its biodiversity. There is no other place in the world that combines a subtropical climate with so many distinct habitat types. Proof of the ecosystem's uniqueness can be seen in one simple fact. This is the only place on planet Earth where alligators and crocodiles coexist. It's the mixture of freshwater from Lake Okeechobee from the north and saltwater from the ocean that makes this impossibly rare dual existence possible. You can usually tell the difference between an alligator and a crocodile by their snouts. A gator will typically have a rounded U-shaped snout, and a croc will have a long pointed V-shaped snout. There are estimated to be upwards of 250,000 alligators living within the national park, but only around 3,000 crocodiles. Amazingly, and I still truly cannot believe this happened, but our guide during a tram tour we did that I'll talk about later pointed out a crocodile swimming away in the wetlands.
An ordinary alligator that's floating on the surface here. This is an American crocodile.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get a super good look at it, nor did I get a very good video shot, so to avoid redundancy, assume every reptile you see in this video is an alligator. Now that you have a good enough idea on the sheer uniqueness of the Everglades ecosystem, let me introduce my history with the park. I first visited the Everglades in 2020, just outside park boundaries, when I did an airboat tour with Everglades Holiday Park. Then in 2021, I visited Everglades Shark Valley for the first time, which marked my first official visit to the national park. This time around, in 2023, I really wanted to experience as many unique things as possible, both for pure enjoyment of seeing the park and in order to get the best possible coverage for this YouTube video. We started by checking out a new airboat tour that we had never experienced and one of 3 that are permitted to operate within park boundaries. This one was operated by Gator Park and was a fantastic experience from beginning to end. Just about any airboat company you go with will be a great time, but this one was right on the way to Shark Valley, which I'd revisit later this day. I believe exploring this park on water is the best way to really experience the Everglades. You'll get to see all sorts of beautiful animals in their natural habitat, which yes, will most definitely include a couple gators. Something I absolutely loved about the Everglades' visit were all of the outstanding bird life. I remembered this being amazing the last time I visited, but I don't think I fully appreciated it until today. You'll see a variety of egrets, herons, storks, anhingas, pelicans, and so much more. These come in so many different colors, with the most common being whites and blacks, but occasionally I did spot some other colors as well. I truly believe that the Everglades is one of the best, if not the best, national park for wildlife viewing. Heck, as soon as we exited the boat and stepped onto the elevated wooden boardwalk, you could see several baby gators chilling out in the water. Always remember to keep a safe distance away from alligators and crocodiles, and that includes the babies. Remember that whenever you see the youngsters swimming around, the parents can't be too far behind. Up next, we headed to Shark Valley, which is a section of the park with some of the best potential for wildlife viewing. If you walk along the mangrove to the right of the parking lot, I'd be shocked if you didn't see a couple gators and at least 100 beautiful birds. If you're patient and look hard enough, I bet you'll also see some rather unique animals too, like this giant snapping turtle I spotted right along the pathway. This super long walkway continues for 14.7 miles as it loops back around to the start of the trail. The best way to see it all without actually hiking that long in the blazing Florida sun is by taking advantage of the Shark Valley tram tour. A couple trams depart per day and the experience lasts for 2 hours. The guide is always super knowledgeable about all the wildlife and will stop so you can get a good look. At the far end of the pathway exists a 45-foot high observation tower. This marks the highest point in the national park, and because of how flat the Everglades are, your view is absolutely unreal from up here. It may not seem like much from the videos I captured, but in real life this was very emphatic. The next day, we had planned something super unique that I had never done before or anything remotely similar for that matter. I booked the only airboat tour I could find that departs at night. This one at Sawgrass Recreation Park was an absolute blast. It's located outside of the national park closer to Weston, Florida. The reason I wanted to try an airboat tour at night is because alligators are far more active at nighttime. Gators are cold-blooded reptiles, and the nighttime represents the perfect time for them to hunt and feed actively. 9 out of 10 times if you see them out during the day, they're just hanging out waiting for the sun to go down. During the tour, we must have seen at least 15 to 20 alligators, which was particularly impressive because at night an alligator's eyes might glow a little bit. Now, to wrap up the video, I want to talk about Everglades' most renowned trails. Just past the southeastern entrance to the park, you can experience 2 short trails, each displaying a great variety of biological diversity. The Anhinga Trail is my favorite trail found at the park as it provides an amazing opportunity to see wildlife and, in particular, alligators. There's a few boardwalk spur trails that are beautifully designed to take you out over the water without interfering with any wildlife. One creature that I haven't mentioned yet that you're likely to see out here are the Everglades' intimidating but beautiful eastern leopard grasshoppers. These are some of the largest grasshoppers you'll likely ever see, but they don't pose a threat to humans and are really fun to watch. The Gumbo Limbo Trail shares the same parking lot as the Anhinga Trail and takes you through a healthy forest of gumbo limbo trees. This reminded me of something straight out of Hawaii, which was probably also the case because of the humidity. Always remember that bringing bug spray is never a bad idea in the Everglades. There's a pretty good chance you'll be bit by a mosquito or something similar during your visit, especially while hiking the Gumbo Limbo Trail in particular. I came home with 2 bites this time, and as I've always said, you didn't really go to Florida if you weren't bitten at least once. The Everglades is a very special place and one of the most biologically rich places I've ever been to. If you're into that sort of thing, I'd be crazy not to recommend this place. It's a fantastic national park and one with a lot of repeatability because of the opportunity to see various different wildlife. In the next video, I'll take you guys to Biscayne National Park, our second of 3 Florida parks we'd be visiting this trip. Until then, I'll see you all very soon. Bye guys.